else want to make that story? Excellent. Thank you. On International Women's Day, I wanted to tell a story about a particular woman that I met through her stories. I get a lot of my stories, most of my stories, from books. And the woman who wrote this book, I like better than a story I found in here, but I'm going to tell you a story anyway. See what you think. I've told it once before, and I don't think I paid enough attention to some of the things that the women were mentioning.
Wait.
I didn't. Just ignore it. We do, don't we? Yeah, anyway, so here we go. So it's from the Punjab, so it's an Indian story, collected in 1860s, 1870s, and it goes something like this, is the way I tell it. There was once a farmer who drove his bullocks out into the field in order to plough for the day. And he'd no sooner turned over the first furrow than a tiger came walking out from the scrub, straight up to him. And the farmer froze. The bullocks were looking the other way. And the tiger kept on coming. He gripped the plough. And the tiger came up and said, "Salam alaikum, how are you?" And the farmer thought, "Oh, I'm very well, thank you, my lord. How are you?" "Oh," I said, "it's a fine day today," I said, "and I'm very hungry. Providence has sent me to eat your 2 bullocks." "Oh," said the farmer, feeling a bit braver, realising that he wasn't on the menu, but the bullocks were. But, my lord, Providence has sent me to plough this field, and I can't plough the field without the bullocks. Surely you'd let me have my bullocks." I said, "No, I'm very hungry, just unyoke them." "Oh, look," said the farmer, "these are tough old bullocks, these. You don't want to eat these. My wife's got a beautiful young milk cow, tender, sweet thing." "Oh," said the tiger, "well, I could be tempted." "Yes," said the farmer, "it'd be no trouble at all. The meat would be so juicy." "All right," said the tiger, "but be quick about it. I am hungry." And he started to sharpen his claws made by stone. Well, the farmer headed back down the road towards where he lived, and he began to get heavy-hearted because he wasn't quite sure how he'd break it to his wife. When he got into the compound and he went into their house, she yelled out, "What are you doing back so soon? I've hardly got my chores done. You're not finished, you lazy thing." He said, "Oh, look, terrible trouble. A tiger. He wanted to eat the bullocks, but I've managed to persuade him to have your milk cow." "What?" she said. "My milk cow? You're offering my milk cow, the thing that we rely on most for butter and milk? How will I feed the children on that milk? What a stupid thing to do. Why didn't you let him eat the bullocks?" He said, "Look, if we don't plough the field with the bullocks, there's no grain. No grain, no bread. Bread's more important than your butter and milk." "Well," she said, "I think I disagree, but can't you have some other sort of idea of what to do to fob him off?" And the old man fella scratched his head and said, "No, I've got no ideas." She said, Typical, just give me time. Just go right back there, right now, and tell him the cow wouldn't go with you, that your wife is bringing it." Oh, well, it was like the devil in the deep blue sea, leaving the wife to meet the tiger. He wasn't too keen, but he went. And when he got there was the tiger. He'd done his claws, he'd cleaned all his teeth, and he was ready. And he said, "Well, where's that cow?" "Oh, it wouldn't come. My wife is going to bring it along directly." "Oh, no," said the tiger. "Yes, it's true. Look, my wife," and he started to talk about his wife. The tiger's looking at him strangely. Maybe you'd have the wife and the cow. So next thing, there was a big shout from the entrance of the field, and when they looked around, here is the wife. Now, as soon as her husband had gone, she went straight to his chest, got his best outfit on, his big baggy trousers, big turban, big shirt, big long kitchen knife, stuck it in a belt, got on the pony, saddled up first though, and off she came. So here she was, standing there at the edge of the field. She took out this kitchen knife and branched it and said, "Ah, ha! Here we have him. I've had 3 tigers yesterday. He is my first for breakfast today." Well, the tiger turned tail and ran back to the scrub. The farmer stepped back as his wife galloped up on the wee pony. Next thing, they watched this tiger disappear into the scrub. And the tiger is running lickety-split. He runs straight into his jackal. Because everybody knows that there's always a jackal around when there's a tiger. And the jackal says, "Hey, wait a minute, what do you think? What's the matter?" "Oh, said the tiger, the devil of a horseman was going to kill me." The jackal said, "What? The sun must have been in your eyes. Didn't you know that was a woman dressed as a man? Can't you tell the difference?" No, it was definitely a devil of a horseman." "Yeah," said the jackal, "I saw her pigtail coming down the back of her turban." "You wouldn't let a woman spoil your dinner, would you?" "Oh," said the tiger, "I still think it was a scary, scary thing. I'm not going back there." The jackal said, "Oh, look, you've got to go back." He's thinking about the bones he wants for dinner. "You've got to go back. Go on, just face up to her." "Oh no," said the tiger, "it could be the end of me." The jackal said, "Oh look, I'll come with you and keep you company." Tiger looks at him suspiciously. Cowards are always suspicious. "I don't know, you probably just leave me there, run away, betray me." "Oh no," said the jackal, "I wouldn't do that. Come on, choose company, I'll walk beside you." No, I don't think that'll work at all. Whatever it is fierce on that horse." "Look," said the jackal, "I will walk with you. How about we tie our tails together, and then we can go in arm in arm together down meet this woman." "Oh, all right then," said the tiger, "as long as it's a reef knot." So the tails were tied together, and next thing, back they go into the field. Meanwhile, here's the farmer and his wife laughing about the trick. "Gee, you're a trick." "Yes, I'm not." "You're a trick, you are." They were having a bit of a tussle. And suddenly, the farmer caught sight of the tiger and the jackal coming together with their tails up. "Oh," he said, "we're done for. Run." No, said the woman, "wait." And she stands there, walks forward to meet them. And as they come closer, she calls out, "Ah, at last, my friend Mr. Jackal. Thank you for bringing me a tiger for breakfast. I'll get rid of him quickly. You can have your bones." Well, that confirmed the tiger's worst fears. He turned tail and he bolted, never giving a thought to what was attached to his tail. He ran over stones, over bars, bumps and scratches. He ran. The jackal howled, but it made him worse. He ran faster. And in the end, that poor jackal howled no more. And the tiger ran until he was almost dead with fatigue. And he looked around. "Oh well," said the tiger. "Oh well." And it just goes to show you, never tie your tail to a coward's. Can I say something about it?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Flora Annie Steele is the author. There's 45 of these stories in here. 43, sorry. She, as I say, had an interesting story. And what I'd like to do is just tell you a little bit about her life. Not too much. What's interesting about her is that Yeah, you can imagine an old city in India 150 years ago. She was born in 1847. 150 years ago, and here's a little woman, she wasn't tall, white-faced, daybreak over the city. And here she is walking out from her big garden that she has around her house and out into the streets, and there to a big building. And this building's a school. And she goes up to the door of the school and she sings to them, "Little birds, oh little birds, why do you sing the night long?" And as she listens, the voices inside, because there's a light on, sing back, "We sing for freedom, we sing for freedom, let us go, oh let us go." This was the school that she started. When she pushed open the door, there were the 400 girls. And when she stood in front of them, Flora and Steele, they threw all these cotton reels at her. They'd been spinning cotton all night. Now, the reason why they were doing that was they wanted to prove to Flora and Steele that they could keep watch. They needed to keep watch. There were 30 women in the garden and around her house keeping watch at night because Flora Annie Steele had had several assassination threats.
Wow.
She was the first inspector of schools in the Punjab. Now you would have thought, Oxford, Cambridge. She was born in 1847. Scottish family, 8 brothers, 1 sister, and her. The 8 brothers got sent to Harrow. She got kept home, of course. She learned to cook, to sew. She sewed all her own clothes. Paint, organise little soirees. And she had permission from her father, who was kind of in the magisterial sort of line. He was the sheriff of Forfar, a big country town in eastern Scotland. He was a sheriff for a while, but they travelled around a bit. And he had a very eclectic library. She read anything she could get hands on. She read books on medicine, on law, she loved history. Mughal history in particular, she thought was fascinating. And it was only through books that she learned. And by the time she was 20, she'd had a couple of proposals. Nobody she'd fancied. And then the shy man, friend of her brother's, wrote her a letter, asked her to marry him. And well, he'd been offered this position as chief magistrate in the Indian civil service. And she thought, well, better than staying home and cooking and sewing. So she agreed. They were married on the day before New Year's Day in 1867, and on New Year's Day they sailed for India. She said they were never in love. She'd never known what love was, but they had a good match. And they had 5 months to get to know each other by the time they got to Delhi. And when they got to Delhi, they had to go all the way up to Lahore to get their posting in a wee box wagon. Well, she said, that's the last time I'm riding in something like that. She cut her hair, she made herself some trousers, she always rode on horseback. And when her husband was posted to the most remote villages all over the north of India, she would accompany him. And while he was holding meetings and adjudicating, she would be sitting with the children. Because on starry nights, when they had all finished their work, the kids and the parents, the children would drag their little beds out underneath a big tree. And Flora said she noticed that there would be one child who would start telling stories, and the kids would just lie and listen. And it was these stories that she heard over and over again. She had lots of different versions, but in the end, she chose the one that was the best, and she put it down in this collection, 43 of them. She had to learn Punjabi in order to do it. She did. She founded a girls' school, she became inspector, she was very much respected for her job. And that cotton that the girls had spun was made into cloth and was embroidered and became a beautiful dress that she treasured. and her last wish was that she be buried in that dress, and she was. Flora Annie Steele, writer of 30 books, one of them the most definitive novel on Indian mutiny. Others were all about Mughal history, but she was supposedly Rudyard Kipling's only rival.
Last year, actually in March last year,